Hi, this video is about blogging for SEO is dumb. If so, under certain circumstances, and there's this really big myth out there that is not true under a lot of circumstances, that content marketing is SEO, or that it all comes down to just create great content on your blog and they will come. And this is just not true for a very large amount of people. And I hate seeing people, waste years and get nowhere just by, blogging. There's so much more to SEO than just creating great content. So, thinking about it like this is wrong. Now, there is some truth to this, because creating great content does create shareability, and other people link to your stuff. And so it does increase the chances that you will actually rank and stay ranking, because Google does track engagement. So if Google sends you a visitor and you have great content and people spend a lot of time on there, then that's going to help you rank. But it is not where you start, and you can create great content for a very long time and get nowhere, especially under certain circumstances. So if the conditions are right, blogging actually can be good, but in a lot of cases, it's just dumb. It's more dumb to recommend it. Not only that, but static pages tend to be, more organized and easier to rank in an evergreen way. And so technically, Google doesn't differentiate between this is a blog post and this is not a blog post. But the way in which blogs are treated in terms of how a content management system treats them, a static page tends to be better. And a lot of websites I've seen where they did actually rank a blog post really well, they kind of ended up treating it like a static page in a roundabout way. And so typically I would recommend actually just going right to that and creating a static page with really great content, and then in a much more appropriate way right up front. It saves some time and energy, and it's done in a more focused, more thoughtfully planned way. And blogging is really as much of a social activity as it is an SEO activity. Content marketing is something that I would recommend more for companies that have sort of social avenues that they can engage people with. And there are some industries where this makes sense, and some industries where it doesn't make sense. If it's a highly visual, or like a shopping thing, so like a clothing brand or some sort of product that's highly visual, then blogging makes a whole lot more sense. And even then, it doesn't always make sense for that. But if it's something that is not visual, or it's not really very interesting, and there's not a lot of new content, I wouldn't recommend an accountant be blogging all the time or something like that. There's not really a whole lot of social aspects to it, and that doesn't mean that there can't be benefits to blogging for an accountant. It's just we're sort of looking at this not so much as a 0 or 1, or should you blog or should you not blog, sort of looking at it this as the value. And blogging is very expensive when you think about the time and energy that goes into writing a really good blog post. It does take a lot of time and energy to write one that's good. So my name's David Hood, and I've been doing SEO for over 10 years, about 7 years full time at the time of shooting this video. And I'm on a mission to help 10,000 people make their first $1 million online. Okay, so blogging for SEO is dumb if you're a local business. Okay. And this is a really big misconception. I've had a lot of people come to me and be like, hey, this other guy said I should blog because he read it regurgitated somewhere else on the internet by some blogger who was blogging. And a lot of times they're ranking something because they're blogging on a high authority site that already has a lot of traffic and has built up a lot of authority over many years. And so they get some natural advantages from that. Well, meanwhile, this local business comes along and they spend 2 years blogging, or just as bad, they hire someone else to blog, and they spend a lot of money and energy on it, and they get butt kissed from it. Okay, this is one of the worst things that you can do. It's such a low value activity for most local businesses. Again, the more social the business, the more likely it is. So, for example, like a proctologist is kind of the opposite. How likely is someone to go to say that Dr. Harry Fingerman, took good care of me, or to kind of reflect that? Or also, what can a proctologist write on their blog? Can they write, I took care of this specific thing? And even if they do, that they could technically do that, it's not providing a lot of local ranking benefit. It's not providing a lot of benefit to where they're actually going to maybe attract local potential patients. What it might do is rank them for specific long tail search phrases on a national level for just to get general overall traffic. But most of this traffic, the vast majority of it is going to be people who are not really qualified potential patients. Plumbing is similar. I mean, how much can you write about plumbing? A plumber should not be blogging unless they've got like a really, really big corporation and they have a lot of money to kind of sink in this and get almost nothing out. Or they have like, they're looking at like a 5 to 10 year plan and they're really willing to commit to it. Again, even then you have to look at it on an opportunity cost basis. What other resources can they put? Can they put can they apply this same money and time and energy to and get a better result? And there's lots of other things. Okay, so if you're a plumber or you're a proctologist or a plumber or a proctologist has hired you to do SEO for them, blogging is really dumb. So also, here's another thing that it kind of misses the point when you just say, hey, just blog great content. Well, yeah, you want great content, but there's other pieces here. And so blogging is dumb if you haven't done your detailed keyword research. So if you haven't looked up, what is your market really typing in the search engine? So if you're just blogging about what's off the top of your head and what you're thinking about, and you expect that to be successful, even if the content is great, that's not really going to help you, because one of the really big benefits of blogging that can actually work for you is if there's a lot of good quality long tails that you can naturally pick up. And especially as you're getting started, you're going to type long articles, you're going to talk about very specific things, and you can kind of naturally pick this up over time, over making a lot of blog articles. And this is going to be a lot harder to do if you haven't done your homework. And that's kind of what this picture is about. You got to do your homework here. You got to really, really, really do a lot of research on what is your market typing in search engines, and not just the big high level things. You want to create a really long list of different ways in which your market is looking for information for your products or services. And if you've done this homework, then blogging can make a whole lot more sense. It's not guaranteed that blogging still makes sense for you. But again, if you haven't done your homework, then you're just kind of blogging about random stuff. And there's a really good chance that you're just wasting your time or money. Okay. And then the last example I'm going to give, and this doesn't mean that there's nothing else. There's other reasons why blogging would be dumb, but these are the ones that I see most common. And it's if you've got a brand new site. Now, there's some caveats to this, which is that sometimes, again, if it's a really low competition search phrase and you really crank out some really detailed content, and you get a little bit lucky, that it could work for you. But in general, you do need some authority in Google's eyes for this to actually work to a certain degree, which means you need some actual links coming back to your site, which means you actually have to have been around a while, which is why you hear of a lot of people. There are a lot of the people that were successful blogging, blogged for years, not just like 1 or 2 or 3 years, but like 5 years or something before it really took off. Okay. And so the reason why it takes so long is that it takes a long time to build up that authority, kind of in a natural, what most people consider to be a natural way, especially if you're just blogging. Okay, and there's other more efficient ways to go about that, but at the same time, if you've got a more established site, then blogging might not be as dumb. It's really not to me, it's not the starting point for the vast majority of SEO projects. You shouldn't start off with like, I want to rank in Google, I'm going to start a blog. Starting a blog should be pretty low down on your list of like orders of operations for your website. Again, it depends. If you have a highly social a market or industry, then the blogging might make more sense. Especially if you plan on doing a lot of social media marketing, then blogging can make a whole lot more sense because you're utilizing that content in your social platforms, which makes blogging and content marketing more of a social activity. In my opinion, it's much more of a social activity overall. It can help for SEO, but in general, you do it for the social benefits, and then the SEO can follow, but doesn't necessarily follow. No authority. Really, Google doesn't like you. And you're also running into sort of the chicken and egg conundrum here, which is that you kind of need traffic and for eyeballs and links, but you also need links and eyeballs to get traffic. And so, where do you start? Well, I mean, if you have one then you kind of have the other already, and it's still better a lot of times to just create like a static page that's around a specific topic and organize it on your site in a way to where all the pieces are fitting together in a natural way, as opposed to just kind of blogging in a much more disorganized way. I still think it's better to not blog, but under a lot of circumstances, you could still blog, and that's fine. I do blog from time to time, and I have blogged in the past, and it's been okay. I would not think that. I would think that though if you're just starting out, it's just not going to be a really great way to go about it. And the more authority you have, as I mentioned before, the higher chance of picking up those kind of long tail search phrases. And so that is it. So again, if you're just like starting out with SEO and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna start a blog and it's gonna rank in Google, there's a lot more to it than that. It's not that simple, and in a lot of cases there's a lot better things that you could do with your time and resources than blogging. So if you like this video, please like it. If you didn't like it, please thumbs down it. Up to you. And also let me know in the comments if you thought this was good content. Please subscribe to the channel and get more content. Let me know what you think, and have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.